Alright, it's AAR time. Today we're playing the prestigious Pope. We're going to become a great power through the power of art. Balance and AI are very not final, so I can't really say if this will be viable in the final game. Haven't done this in a while, so actually not sure if it's viable now, but we're going to try. So, the Papal States. We are shockingly an autocratic theocracy with very conservative laws. We accept both the Italian cultures, and there are no significant minorities in the country, either cultural or religious. There's a small Jewish population, but it's unlikely to ever be politically relevant. Taking a look at our economy, it's definitely pre-industrial. There's a lot of work to be done. Art academies are expensive, and we're not going to be able to afford them with our tiny economy that raises most of its money through taxes on the peasantry. We're currently 2.9k in the green. Max peasant taxes would only give us another 2k. I don't think the peasant taxes are the way to go. We have our own market. Certain luxury goods are very expensive, but for the most part, people have what they need. We do have a shortage of clippers though. I'll just buy them. Nah, fund those clipper factories. They should be relevant in a few decades. I'll definitely want to become self-sufficient in the shipbuilding industry later, but I don't think it's going to be my first move. Can the papacy form Italy? Yes. I think the first law we're going to want to pass is religious schools. We want more literacy, so people will be qualified more the more specialized jobs we'll need going forward. I would ideally like to reform my tax laws, but there's just no support for it right now. To support these schools, I'll need a lot of bureaucracy, so I'll build government administrations in Rome. I took a look at my fisheries. They were using the simple fishing production method, but since we've just started importing clippers and we're buying more than we need, I switched them over to fishing trawlers. This has quite substantially reduced the price of fish since we're producing a lot more. This is basically a good thing, because fish was really quite expensive before. The profitability of the buildings is about the same. The price of their outputs is lower and the cost of their inputs is higher, but the increased output makes up for it. Oddly enough, there's also a significant demand for wine, so I guess my opening moves will be to provide the miracle of fish and wine. Oh, I see why demand for wine is so high. We have an obsession with wine. I'll expand the wheat farms in Romagna, which are using the vineyard's production method. With all this construction, wood is getting kind of expensive. I'll start a logging industry in Umbria. We're now in a deficit, but I'm not too concerned. Oh hey, our fisheries just got more profitable. Egypt is now buying our fish. Meat is also expensive, and I could potentially solve that by using butchering tools in my livestock ranches, but this would cause an input shortage of tools, so I'll need to wait until I get tool workshops going, or I guess I could just import tools for now. Might as well. How easy is this info found? At the point of making a decision? You can get an overview of your market in the market view, or you can see more details about a particular industries in the buildings panel. Alright, I've imported tools, so I switched everything over to butchering tools. This left us with a lot of tools, so I switched my logging camps in Lazio over to sawmills, which reduced the price of wood and therefore the state's construction expenses. The main market issues now are the high prices of glass and fabric. These will be solvable later. For now, I'll live with it. I'm researching lathe for now, since it's on the way towards railways, which are universally useful. If I had a lot of universities instead, I'd be rushing art techs. Is glass needed for wine and liquors production, or is the need for bottles etc. abstracted in a pop need for glass, since pop need glasswares anyway, right? Yeah, it's a pop's need rather than a building need. Also, the high price of glass in my market is mostly due to French and Sicilian export routes. This makes my glass industry very profitable, but my pops are struggling to afford glass. We could really use some more money. I'm tempted to impose a consumption tax. I'm going to take the risk. I'm taxing grain. The budget is now almost exactly balanced, and I can increase this tax if needed. Romagna has expanded its vineyards. I think the next thing I want to do there is expand the textile mills. This is an urban building, which employs shopkeepers and labourers, which shift pops to interest groups I'd prefer better than farms. Clothes are also quite expensive. In Umbria, I'm actually going to go in the opposite direction and build a cotton plantation. Always need more fabric, and as a relatively small nation, we have the capacity to be self-sufficient. How do Pope elections work in-game? Is it treated like a regular democracy or an authoritarian regime? It's treated like an autocracy, so a new leader is generated at random. Umbria's new logging camps are doing a lot of work. The price of wood is now quite reasonable. They also employ capitalists, which is nice. The industrialist interest group is not relevant in the country, but someday it will be. This is probably not an optimal move, but I'm going to expand my arts academy in Rome. Also, with the completion of the government administration, the price of paper has risen significantly. It is a significant drain on the budget, however. Actually, I've changed my mind. I'll build a university. The price of furniture is really high as well. I'll make a new factory in Romagna. The university is done. I think I'll finally address the glass issue. An hour into the game, how much time has passed? About 18 months. I think it's time to attempt Tool's self-sufficiency. Does your new uni provide any prestige compared to that art academy? No, universities just provide innovation. Any developments in the world? The only major war seems to be a dispute over Kazakhstan involving Russia and China. Are you planning on trying to unify Italy? Not really, but if I can grab any Italian miners peacefully, I will. The gold reserve is running out. Might want to pause expansion for a while. Either that, or I need a new source of revenue. I could tax grain and fish. My law is taking forever to pass. I would really like my literacy rate to be better than 16%. Yes. Oh, what? Well, that's a bug. I can't even do that. Chiefdom is for decentralized countries. I hope their radicalism stays low, because I do not have the ability to appease these people. Oh, good news! Modena has asked us for an alliance. I have a tooling workshop now, but its productivity isn't amazing. I could improve it with pig iron tools, but I'd need iron for that. Umbria has some potential for iron mining, so I'll add it to the queue. In the meantime, I'll continue relying on tools imports to some extent. One big downside of being in our own market is that our land is not at all mineral rich, or resource abundant in general. The only thing we really have going for us is that there's a lot of sulfur in Romagna, but that's a mid-game thing and not something I can exploit right now. I'd prefer to remain in my own market for this playthrough, or get the other Italian miners into your market. I'd love to, and I'm slowly working towards it. Modena would join my customs union, but as their entire country is part of a split state in which Parma is the largest state, they're locked into Parma's market and can't accept my offer. Alright, new economic policy. We only build in 2 states at once. This just barely keeps the budget in the green. Is there any other Italian state pushing towards unification already? Not that I can tell, but it's early for that. Austria is on fire. What happened? Well, they tried to conquer Switzerland. Vienna is now a Bavarian city. But also, Zurich is Austrian. There was some back and forth in the negotiation. There's little devastation fires all over Central Europe, with a little island of perfect calm around Munich. The Bavarians really trashed the place. Time for more arts academies. The Two Sicilies is way ahead of us in prestige. How did Austria lose to Bavaria and Switzerland? I know they're a bit past their peak by Vicky 3's time frame, but wow. They had Prussian help. How hard would it be to become the Pope Islands and conquer every Mediterranean island? Pretty hard. Russia and China are still going at it, with neither side really gaining ground. How is the Popistan in terms of tech? Not great. Way behind Britain. We have at least a level 1 university now, though. Does the papacy start off with any exclusive tech like China does? Or any of the Italian states for that matter? There is no such thing as exclusive tech. The tools plan worked out really well. With the new iron mine in Umbria, I'm able to switch to pig iron tools in Romagna's tooling workshops. The price of both tools and iron has stabilized nicely. And this is after cancelling imports. Great success! We're now in late 1838. For reasons that aren't immediately clear, a lot of South Italians are migrating to Algiers. I have a choice between some very tempting options after expanding my arts academies. I can either significantly increase its throughput, or get a major head start on realism tech. That's more than a year of research at my current rate. I think I'll take the tech. Throughput is nice, but I'm not in the running for great power yet. Once we finally pass religious schools, I think we'll want a new government that will pass tax reforms. Expenses keep increasing, there are only so many new taxes I can impose. By the way, how is your fleet doing? Do you even have one? We have no fleet. Our foreign policy is, hope nobody attacks us, and if they do, hope that somebody protects us. Excellent news! Parma has asked for an alliance, which improved relations enough that they joined our customs union. Due to the way split states works, this puts Parma, Modena, and Lucca in the papal market. Green line go up? Not really. They don't really bring anything to the market at all, besides just enough food to feed themselves. It's had very little impact. My main reason to include them in my customs union is that it's prelude to unification. Our economic laws are really bad. Traditionalism, levying, no income taxes. I really want to enact an income tax law, but I'm blocked by having traditionalism. I don't have 10 years to try and pass both laws. The economy can't survive the wait. Instead, I have to take the next best option, replacing levying with a per capita tax. It won't bring anywhere near as much revenue as an income tax, but it'll balance the budget. With the way things are right now, how many divisions would you be able to muster if war broke out? We have 5 battalions. We are incredibly weak. Can't you just change your economic laws, since you're an absolute monarchy? That's not how laws work. Oh, but that does remind me, I can use my autocratic powers here. I'll promote the armed forces and have the Pope personally support them. They're also in government now. The armed forces strongly support my tax reforms. I might even want to increase army salaries to increase their wealth, and therefore political strength. Do they get anything from you supporting them? Like clout or something? Yes, they become more powerful. I'm cancelling my decrees to improve my authority as well. I want this law passed. It's early 1839. It'll take about a year for the next chance to pass my tax law. Chance to pass is quite low, but it'll build up over several attempts. There's no chance for the law to stall. The opposition isn't powerful. It's opposed only by the Roman landowners, who have been declining in influence since the start of the game due to my industrial build-up. How's your relations with the Ottomans, by the way? We are entirely disinterested in one another. Oh, the Italian miners joining their market is finally having an impact. They've mostly specialized their economy for groceries production, which is increasing standard of living. It offsets some of the impact of my grain tax. Which Italian nations still aren't in your market? Tuscany, Sardinia, and 2 Sicilies aren't in. Some unforeseen positive consequences. I added the rural folk to the government because they support moving the tax burden away from the peasantry. Because they are happy they're providing a nationwide throughput bonus to agriculture and logging, which is what I was using my decrees for. So that's nice. And I just noticed something. Rome has a pretty good capacity for silk production. Definitely would have been viable to have a totally different economic strategy than what I went for. Selling luxury clothes and furniture to the world is profitable. Diversity time? Not yet, but something to consider later. One issue with diversifying is that I mostly want to use Rome for arts academies and universities. How's the living standard? On average, people are impoverished, which is a bit better than the global average. Currently researching railways. I think I might go for mechanical tools after that. It unlocks a paper mill production method that uses sulfur, gives me an excuse to start mining it. I'm not going to be actually building railways anytime soon, though. No problems with market access anywhere then? Nope, we don't need the extra infrastructure right now. The industrialists want a monarchy for some reason? What would the Papal States becoming a monarchy actually entail? I'm assuming your name would change for one. Not sure what the name change would be, actually. I suppose it'll be a surprise for Elise, assuming you're not planning to remove the Pope yourself anytime soon. I don't see any reason to remove the Pope in this playthrough. I want to pass reforms that give me the money to fund my art, but I'm not interested in changing society. Alright, it's gonna take over 2 years, but I'm researching realism. We will have the world's fanciest and most expensive art. Art gives prestige, right? Yes, I want to become a great power. Realist art would actually bump me all the way up to major power. Oh, I expanded my arts academies a bit more. We're now a major power. We'll need to double our prestige to get great power, though. World conquest through poetry, although 2/3 of your people can't read. It's worse than that. Literacy rate is 20%. I should actually expand my education institution. I passed the law, but left the institution at level 1. I have enough bureaucracy for 1 more level. I'll probably want more government administrations to get that higher later, but that costs money I don't have because I don't have my tax reform yet. Why is it taking so long to reform your taxation? There's not that much support for it, and government legitimacy is not especially high. Opposition to the law is weak, but lack of support slows everything down. Do you need to be a great power to form Italy? No, but being at least major helps a lot. You can actually do it as an insignificant power if you manage to conquer everything militarily. I'll want to research nationalism soon, I guess. I think in this playthrough, I won't go for full unification, just the central Italian countries that will probably join peacefully. Wait, you can just partially unify Italy? Yes, nobody is forcing you to complete the unification. It won't give me enough states to press the Form Italy button, but that's not my goal. Ah, so you have Middle Italy, but you can't call yourself Italy yet, as you would need all of it? Not all, but more than I'll get with just the central part of the country. My painfully slow tax reforms have a pretty good chance of passing next year. South Italian unification, let's go! Unlikely. 2 Sicilies is a major power themselves. They won't join voluntarily. So you're using the unification play, diplomatic action, while staying papal states? Nah, I'll probably not go that route. Papacy has northern and southern Italian accepted in 1836, so Neon TD can go for a sort of unofficial partial unification. I wonder if there's any other Italian states with both accepted as well. No, it's just the Pope with both. Literacy has improved by 5% this year. Not bad. Just a few months away from realism. I'll start building a silk plantation in Rome. We can probably start diversifying now. I missed where the tech for this was acquired. You don't need tech for silk plantations. We now have realism. I've updated my arts academy's production method, and we're now the 11th most prestigious country in the world. How far away from great power? We need almost double our prestige, but this is quite achievable if we can raise the funds for more arts academies. But we still haven't passed the tax reform. Oh dear. The United Sovereign Archduchy has entered the world. Interesting. I reformed my government, and my next law will pass in the year 100,000 Anno Domini. Oh, I see the source of my legitimacy issues. I need the autocrat supporting an interest group in the government, because that's how legitimacy is derived in my government form. Right now I've set up an industrialist government to move us away from a traditionalist economy. Are the armed forces still in government? No, they're not really useful right now. I think that's enough AAR for today. Might continue tomorrow. Things are looking pretty good though. I have at least some money with which to expand my arts academies. Things are stable internally, largely due to not having anything to rock the boat, and nobody has decided to attack us. We're on track for unifying Central Italy too. So, that was part 1 of Neon DT's Papal States AAR. Sorry that it took so long to get this one out. I was trying to do different things on how to do it, because there's a whole lot of chat that goes on while he's making the AARs, and it does take a little bit of effort to cut the fat, if you will. But hopefully you like the way that I've done this one, and stay tuned, because part 2 has already been made, and I'm going to try and get that out reasonably soon. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.